My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my ranking of the Batman Arkham franchise from worst to best, and this video will have spoilers, so there's your warning. But I'm very mixed on this franchise, so let's dive in. Beginning with the worst, and it's Arkham Knight. I hate this game. Now, I will say the graphics look great. Some of the additions to the combat are really fantastic. And getting to drive in the Batmobile is cool every now and again, but holy shit, they take this nice addition and they just turn it into a nightmare. Like, it is excessive how often you have to use the Batmobile, and it just really gets on your nerves. Like, it is a huge part of this game, and it's so repetitive, and I was sick of it. And then on top of that, you also got yourself this terrible story. Arkham Knight being Jason Todd is the most obvious and predictable villain reveal maybe ever. I knew that would be the case even before this game came out, but the execution is just lacking. Like, they never develop Jason as a character, so when the reveal happens, I'm like, oh, it's a character named Jason Todd. Why do I care? They never give you a reason. And then the exposition with the flashbacks is so terribly handled, and then for some reason, he just disappears, and that's it to the story until he saves Batman at the very end. Like, just terrible writing. And then we get to Scarecrow, who was a good villain, but he just disappears in his own game. He doesn't have that much of a presence, and his whole attack Gotham with fear gas, it happens, it gets stopped, and it just feels like everything goes back to normal. There's no weight to it. And everything with the ending and him revealing Batman's secret identity to the world, it just felt anticlimactic. There was no weight to it. And then the game just ends. And then we also got everything with the Joker, who is very entertaining, but it just feels desperate at this point to get him involved in the game. It really does. The plot where Joker's blood turns people into him is just retarded, and yeah, so if I ever have to choose between playing this game or one of the better games in this franchise, I will always choose the better games because they have better stories and they don't rely on the Batmobile. So I hate this game, that's why it's dead last. The second worst one of the bunch is Arkham Origins, and I'm a bit mixed on this one because I think the free roaming here is just awful. It doesn't move well, there's no flow to it, and Gotham is just empty. Like, it is such a boring environment to explore. And then on top of that, we get this cool plot with Black Mask, only for it to be a Joker plot instead. And I get what they're going for with Batman's first encounter against the Joker and him forming his partnership with James Gordon. I get what they're going for, but everything taking place on one night felt a bit contrived, and I like Troy Baker as the Joker, but it just feels desperate to use him time and time again. So, yes. Oh, and then they involve Harley Quinn for whatever reason. Like, really, like, it was just too much. It really was. What I will say is that some of the combat, some of the stealth flows really well here, better than it does in Arkham Knight. And some of the boss fights are good. I hated Deathstroke, but yeah, I don't really like this one either. I'll never play it again, so that's why it's second last. The second best, and there's a huge jump in quality, and it's Arkham City. I think there's a really great story here. Everything with Protocol 10 and Arkham City getting attacked by Hugo Strange, and then the way they tie Ra's al Ghul into that plot and everything with Batman being poisoned by the Joker, they found a way to involve as many villains as possible, and it still flows proper. My issue with the story is Clayface. It just seems like an unnecessary tryst that doesn't really add all too much. But then let's get into the other elements of this game, which is the free roaming. This was the first attempt at it, and they just nailed it. It just feels and looks amazing. I love exploring Arkham City. I love the graphics. The atmosphere in this game is top notch, especially at the steel mill. You know, they've got those Harley Quinn things around, and the way it's lit, it kind of reminds me of BioShock every now and again. The boss fights are pretty good, but Mr. Freeze is the best boss fight in any video game I've played. Just perfection. I love this take on the character and all the voice performances. Kevin Conroy, Mark Hamill, Nolan North, they all do an exceptional job. The music is really good, and I feel like it expands upon the gameplay established in the original so incredibly well. So yeah, I love this one a lot, and that's why it's my second favorite. And then we get to the best one, and it's Batman Arkham Asylum. Now, I have a lot of nostalgia for this game. Like, this was one of the first big PlayStation 3 games I played, and I was just obsessed. And playing it now, it still holds up significantly. And my favorite part about it is the atmosphere, the sound design. It's just fully immersive. You know, there's a claustrophobic feeling to it, and I love the do sound that plays and the sound of the chatter teeth. There's just something so delightful about it. It's small scale in the best possible way, and I love it how you have to return to these environments and these buildings time and time again, but each time there's something different or you get to explore a new part of it. That was really great. The introduction to this kind of gameplay was just perfection. The combat is fantastic. The stealth is just top notch. This still might be my favorite stealth in the entire franchise. And the way it utilizes these villains is just perfect. Like, this is the perfect Batman story. And I love this tone for the character. I love these voice performances. It's just everything I would want from a Batman game. Now, sometimes the boss fights are annoying, but I've such a soft spot for it, and I really do think it's still exceptional. I love it. It's close between this one and Arkham City, but the atmosphere and the small scale nature wins out in the end, so that's why Arkham Asylum is my favorite. But what's your ranking of this franchise? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin, out.